Ting ting. Oh yeah? Well, you're just a... I can explain. Afternoon, ladies and gents. About a year ago, I did a review on the world of Nintendo figures by Jakks Pacific. At the time, I only had 6 figures, including Link and Samus, Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, and of course, the Mario Brothers. Ever since then, I picked up several more, as well as a lot of other third-party characters and stuff. I kind of turned this into a thing, collecting video game character figures and keeping them in this box, because I think it was because I was playing a lot of Smash Bros. And stuff, so maybe some of these could be third-party characters could be potentials in the future or something, or whatever. Or I could just kind of create my own Smash Brothers battle. Anyway, let's look at the characters. I'm going to go through the Nintendo figures first, the ones that I didn't mention in my other video. I got Yoshi, of course, because I've always loved Yoshi ever since his debut in Super Mario World. Then I got Wario. Wario, I like Wario, he's hilarious. And a lot of the Mario figures come with the coin, which some people kind of frown upon because, I can understand because if you're collecting all of them, which I don't, but people who try and collect them all, it's like you get a big pile of coins, but isn't that kind of what you get in the game? But anyway, I like you can do the Humphrey Bogart thing with them pretty well, like I just did. Then I got Peach. Comes with her trusty little parasol, which is nice. Oops, just dropped it. That's fine, I'll pick it up after. Yeah. Wow. But Peach, I think she's actually a good fighter in Smash Brothers, because, sure, Final Smash is kind of lame, but, her, a lot of her standard moves are pretty cool. And of course I had to get Fox from Star Fox. Comes with a... Get a good grip on it. Comes with a neat little R-Wing, kind of like Micro Machines. It's really nice. I always love miniature stuff like that, like Micro Machines and Mighty Max. Then from the most recent wave, or Wave 5, which I think was in February, I got Sheik from Legend of Zelda, aka Zelda. This is Zelda in Skip. She comes with her harp, which I just dropped. Sorry, it doesn't stay in her hands too well. Now, there are other ones that I want to get the Metroid and also Bowser, but the thing is, with the Metroid, I don't want to pay like $40 for one, if you know what I mean. eBay scalpers. And it was a debatable thing about, maybe I kind of wanted to get it, then I watched some of the reviews that people did, so I was like, okay, maybe I will get it. Now it's back to a debatable thing. Maybe, I don't know, I'll get to why in a moment. Bowser I want to get is actually for 2 reasons. One, so I have OCD, and one of my obsessive things is symmetry. And for Series 1-1, I have 5 out of the 6 figures. Bowser's the only one out of that I don't have, so it's kind of like, I feel like, I kind of need to complete the set. The other reason, I was playing Super Mario World 64 one day, and in that how Bowser's twice the size of Mario, and Mario grabs him by the tail and swings him around, so it's like, okay, I gotta get the Bowser figure. And I also have a couple of the mini figures, because which I'm not gonna go into detail about them. I'll save them for another video. I kind of get an idea. But one of the ones I want to show is Olimar, because it makes sense because he's supposed to be small anyway. If you remember in the Subspace Emissary in Brawl, when Captain Falcon picks him up and he's like the size of a toy, basically, or not a toy, but like a teddy bear. I got a couple of the Pikmin too, a couple of purple ones. Since they come in hordes, I might get a few more of the colors and stuff. For ones I'd love to see in the future, I would still love to see some Fire Emblem figures. I don't know if that's 100% Nintendo or not, because I feel like they're doing specifically Nintendo franchises. Ones that are 100% Nintendo property, like Donkey Kong, Mario, Zelda. So I don't know if Fire Emblem is or not. Same with Kid Icarus. But I'd still love to see them. Love to see some F-Zero characters like Captain Falcon. Think of Captain Falcon, you could come with a little miniature... Fox comes with the R-Wing. I'd love to see Captain Falcon could come with the... What the hell do you come... The Blue Falcon. Excuse me, sorry. Brain fart. As for the minifigures, because there's more on the way, there's actually going to be ones of Samus, the villager from Animal Crossing, which is neat. And also the Metroids. That's why I kind of debated. I'm like, well, maybe I'll just get some of the mini ones. I mean, maybe I'll get the big one too or something. I don't know. So yeah, but yeah, Punch Out would be another one. Maybe Little Mac or something for the larger 4-inch figures. There's also going to be, there's ones of Falco and Slippy on the way. We're excited for those. Maybe they'll do Peppy too, or Crystal, do the whole team, or Star Wolf figures. That'd be awesome. And there's going to be a 4-inch toy of Zelda, which is nice. The only thing I really think that I have a little bit of a, not a complaint, but the figures always came with, the 4-inch figures anyways, always came with the accessories were basically hidden in a box like this, so it's like you didn't really know what you were getting. So it was nice because it was a surprise. But starting with Wave 5, they're just in the case. Like it's no longer a surprise, you know what you're getting. So it's like kind of disappointing a little, but at the same time it's also a good thing because it's gonna save a lot of paper if you think about it, like all these that I'm sure a lot of these got thrown in the trash. I recycled most of mine. And speaking of 6-inch figures, I'd love to see a toy of Ridley. That would be awesome. Or, they make those 20-inch figures of Mario and Link. Imagine if they made one of Kraid. Maybe I'm just thinking out loud, but anyway. I need to get a toy of Kirby. I know he's not 100% Nintendo because he's made by HAL and published by Nintendo, but I need to get a toy of him. Mostly it's plush figures, so that's a little difficult. Pokemon is another one. That's Game Freak, but published by Nintendo, so... But it's still exclusive to Nintendo consoles and stuff, so... I got this figure of Lucario. I've actually had him for almost 10 years. This was during the Diamond and Pearl era, when they were more like action figures. They made the toys. In the recent years, they made them more like the original figures. So I have this little miniature figure of Pikachu. I have a whole box of Pokemon toys from over the years. I keep them in a different box. So I actually moved Lucario from that box to this one. And this Pikachu is obviously new, like I just said. Now let's talk about the third-party characters. I actually had to get the 3 that were originally in Smash Bros., the new one. So I got Pac-Man. This was from a more recent Pac-Man game. I forget what it was called. It was on, came out like a few years ago. But, yeah, Pac-Man Jungle Fever, maybe, or something like that. But yeah, there was actually quite a few ones. I got this one because he's the most standard looking, nice articulation and everything. And he can do this. You ever wonder what... Well, these bananas came with the Diddy Kong accessory. I like to do this. Darn it. Hang on. Just a moment. Sorry if my fingers are on that one. Well, you get the idea. Yeah. Sonic was a little difficult because all the figures were either too big or too small. So through some digging online, I managed to come across this one, which is very, very similar to the World of Nintendo figures, and he's got the nice Sega Genesis look, which I thought was really cool. Yeah, I know I use that term a lot. I guess I'm like a broken record. Really cool, really cool. Now Mega Man, don't even get me started on Mega Man. Trying to find a figure of him. I remember in 1999 when. What the hell was it called? Marvel vs. Capcom came out in the arcade, and then it was ported to the Sega Dreamcast. There was toys. They came in versus packs like Wolverine versus Akuma, Venom versus Captain Commando. One of them, I had a couple of them. I think I only had 2 of the sets or something, but I figured one of them was Mega Man versus War Machine. So I was like, oh yeah, of course if I bought that back in the day, but whatever. Would have been perfect if I still had the figure, but I managed to find one online, for cheap. So yeah, that's Mega Man. He's a little small, but isn't he supposed to be anyway? And he's a little kind of loose. The limbs are the color's a little faded, but I can touch him up a bit. I'm pretty handy with that kind of stuff. One of the other versus packs, I think it was Captain America versus Morrigan. So I found the toy of Morrigan from that particular toy of Morrigan, and I was like, oh, why not? She's a popular Capcom character. I always like Morrigan. Now we're getting into more hopeful characters and stuff. Yeah, the other, like I said, I started this back in August, and I did have I used to have a toy, a little model figure of Vincent Valentine. It was probably about this size. You know, this is, like I said, I started this a while ago, so this was before Cloud was introduced and stuff. So yeah, go figure. I still want to get like somebody like Square Enix representative, but no, like of course I had them in a box of old toys that I donated. It's like of course, like if I knew I was going to do this, I would have held on to it. But one of the figures I still had, I used to have Spider-Man vs. Strider for the, going back to the Marvel vs. Capcom, and I still have the toy of Strider here. I lost his sword years ago, but there he is nonetheless. I used to have a ton of Resident Evil toys. Like I had Chris, who came with the dog, Joe came with the spider, and I had a few of the figures from the second game. So I have Leon here. I held on to him because he's a popular character from the franchise. I have the toy of Claire too, since she was, these were the two characters from the second game. I still have the toy of the Hunter, if you remember them from the first game. I always liked these guys. I got Steve and Alex from Minecraft, Mojang. I do have their accessories from them. I keep them in this box so it doesn't get lost. It's like a little treasure so they don't get lost. Now, I know a lot of people were asking for Steve to be in Minecraft. If Minecraft, in Minecraft, asked for Steve to be in Smash Brothers. If Minecraft came out on the Wii U a few years ago, he might have been in there, and he might have been a DLC character. I got this toy of Spyro from, I know now he's Activision, but years ago in the 90s he was Insomniac. He was one of my favorite 3D platformer characters of the 90s. This is actually just a cheap little McDonald's Skylanders toy, but it's like, whatever, it works. Speaking of old companies, I think Tomb Raider used to be Eidos or something back when it was a PlayStation 1 exclusive, so I got this toy of Lara Croft. It's a little weird looking, but whatever. I guess it's that retro PlayStation look. I want to get a representative for Rare, Rareware or whatever you want to call them. Unfortunately, that's the thing. See, Banjo-Kazooie and Conquer, there's only plush figures. The Joanna Dark figure was too expensive for my taste, and the Battletoads toys, there's only, for toys for them, it's just like these cheap little rubber things that you can buy them in the box, and it goes for like over $100. No thank you, not buying those. But I really think Battletoads is coming back, and if that's the case, maybe they'll make some action figures of them. And funny, when I was thinking of that, I was like, well, Battletoads was made by Rare, but I think it was also, I think Trade West had something to do with the games as well, and I was like, wait a minute, Trade West made the Double Dragon games. And I remember there was toys of Double Dragon when I was a kid. There was a show of Double Dragon in the mid-90s, which had you can look up Double Dragon cartoon on YouTube sometime. If you can find the intro, I'm sure the intro will come up right up. It's a very catchy tune, the intro. It's like, the code of the dragon, or something like that. But there was toys of it. I remember my neighbor had a bunch of them, including Billy Lee and Jimmy Lee. He used to have these guys. Another figure, I don't think he was in any of the games, but I know he was, I'm pretty sure he was in the show, and I remember the toy of him because my neighbor used to have him, was this guy. His name was Vortex, because he does this. Look at that magnificent mullet. I want to get I had to get him represented from Midway, because, most likely Mortal Kombat would be their biggest one, but they have other cool franchises too, like Gauntlet and Rampage. So I got this little 4-inch Sub-Zero figure. It's pretty cheap. You can't tell me that when they did those polls and stuff for Smash Brothers characters, DLC and stuff on their website, I guarantee is people voted for Mortal Kombat characters somewhere in there. Even if it didn't pop up in the feed or whatever, I'm sure there's some people who voted for it. If you remember a game called Primal Rage, which was in the arcade and important to like the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, it was made by, it was in the 90s obviously, but it was made by Midway, and it's the same idea as Mortal Kombat with dinosaurs. And one of my favorite characters, because there was toys of it, funny how the game wasn't too successful, yet it was successful enough to have, I don't know how much it did, but they made toys out of it anyway. Despite whether it did good or bad. But anyways, One of the figures that I had was this one, Vertigo. I still have her. She was my favorite character. I used to have Talon too, the Raptor, but I think I ended up throwing him out or donating him or something. And here's a character I would love to see in a future Smash Bros. Game, even if he just made like a comeback or something. Was Earthworm Jim from Interplay. Yeah, he was one of the characters that once his games went into the 3D dimension, they weren't really the same. But he was a popular platformer from the 90s. And I remember there was a show in the toys. I used to have a couple. I never had the toy Earthworm Jim as a kid, but I had a bunch of the villains. And this is a battle damaged Earthworm Jim. I found him pretty cheap, probably because they re-released the figures in 2003 or something like that. But you can do this. He shoots out his chest. And I also got, because I found her. Whoops. Was Princess What's-Her-Face. This is his girlfriend. And I'm not just saying that because I forget her name. But that's literally what her name is Princess What's-Her-Face. You know, it's like a goofy game and stuff. Save the biggest and the best for last. Duke Nukem, which was on PlayStation N64. The N64 game was okay because it had, you know, it was edited, but it, you know, obviously cartridge can't handle the video format, so the movies are more just picture and text. But the deathmatch was awesome. You could do 4-player deathmatch. And I always loved the first boss in that game, which was the Battle Lord. And this is him right here. I still have him all these years. I think my sister got me for him in Christmas of, I want to say 98. It was the year I got this. Yeah, like I said, I still have him. But there I go, broken record again. He's still in pretty good shape, too. His head's a little loose, but I lost his Gatling gun, unfortunately. But yeah, I do still have him, so. So that's all for these figures. Does anybody? Is there anybody you guys think I should add to this? Like any other third-party companies, even if it's a company that like died years ago? Any representatives or something? One of the ones I was considering was Crash Bandicoot from Naughty Dog. I remember there was toys of that. My neighbor had a few. Unfortunately, the figures are kind of expensive for some reason. Maybe I can find one more cheap. I'll get that. But any other companies you could think of, or company mascots that you think I should add to this collection? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, you want to hit that little red subscribe button, that would be greatly appreciated. And as always, thanks for watching.